Hey folks, Carla Sands here, putting in a plug for Gene Valentino's Grassroots Truthcast.
Hi, friends. Gene Valentino. I recently had the chance to sit with Ashley Leopard. Ashley's the real deal. A United States Coast Guard helicopter pilot, a recipient of the Air Medal, and a true American hero. Her first book, The Hurricane Within, was an award-winning document, and now shows she's back with volume number 2 called Beyond the Storm. Ashley's courage, faith, and strength of character will inspire you. Visit her website and get the latest updates on her new book and your chance to receive and win a free autographed copy. Check out the QR code down in the corner as well. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning to Gene Valentino. The Velvet Hammer has joined us. And boy, we got a lot to talk about, Gene. Good morning, first of all.
Good morning, back with you, those
I got to turn
tres
you up. Hold on.
amigos.
Say that again. I had you turned down. Sorry.
I said those tres amigos. We're here, ready to go.
Yeah, we are here and ready to go. You're absolutely right. So, we found out this week. Now, this summer, we know that the DOJ and the FBI executed search warrants at John Bolton's home and in his office in Washington. Looks like he's been indicted yesterday. You know, when you look at this is some pretty serious stuff that could put this guy in jail for the rest of his life. What do you think about this?
Well, he's an example of a crowd of folks that are now being in the sights of justice. John Bolton was an adversary, even though he worked his way in as a close sidekick of President Trump in his first term. But he was no friend. Donald Trump's biggest problem coming out of his first term of office was that he had trusted people around him that he thought were part of his inner circle, but in fact were talking in a bad way about their boss behind his back. It's not just John Bolton. You had William Barr, the Attorney General. You had misguiding Trump on actions to be taken on January 6th. You had Rex Tillerson. Remember him? Rex Tillerson,
Oh, yeah.
Mad Dog Maddox. Say
Yeah.
again?
No, he was like the Chevron guy, the Exxon guy, I forget.
Yeah, Secretary of State for a while. Then Mad Dog Maddox. The 3 or 4 or 5 of them would get together with Bolton after meetings with Trump and literally conspire. Yeah, I heard what the guy said. We don't have to do that. Let's go in this direction. So what Trump did obsessively, thank God, to his favor in his second term, whether you like his cabinet or not, he surrounded himself with people he trusted. And so here he is with a government shutdown underway, negotiating peace with Ukraine and Russia, wrapping up an Israeli Iran Hamas peace deal. And 6 prior to that is an amazing feat by any standard. I was asked yesterday, what do you think of Trump? I said, well, he's a superstar. He wins the 440 race every time. But that's a superstar. Someone who's hard to describe would be to win that same 440 race carrying a ball and chain. And that's Donald Trump. He has eclipsed all other potential candidates for any notoriety in this century. And I believe he's worthy of his own portion of a wall. Uh, in addition to Mount Rushmore, he deserves his own statue or edifice on the walls in granite somewhere in the Grand Canyon region in his honor as his legacy long after he's gone. I don't think he's going too quick, though. The argument of whether he wraps it up after this second term or not is he has created a backbench, unlike Biden and the rest of the Democrats who are trying to protect their own turf and are now in trouble doing so. Trump has set the stage for posterity by creating a bench of people behind him, most of which are half his age. And it's amazing to see that what he's put in place for the future of this nation. Hey, wouldn't it be something? Now, I thought it was a crazy idea when I heard it, but anything's possible with Trump. What if J.D. Vance really does become um, president after Trump? What if Trump becomes J.D. Vance's vice president? Oh no, impossible. Look, don't tell me about anything impossible. We've seen so much happen that it wasn't on the radar just 12 months ago. And even if he doesn't run for vice president under J.D. Vance, what about that Marco Rubio, who's orchestrated with National Intelligence Services and Tulsi Gabbard? By the way, she's been missing lately. You see a lot of cabinet people in the foreground, but you don't see Tulsi. She's been orchestrating a lot of things. And these Venezuelans are in for the surprise of a lifetime as Trump moves forward to taking down the dictator in that nation.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday. There was a story on one of the channels last night. I forget which one, but they had a retired, I want to say a Navy SEAL or something that participated or was part of that group, and he said they are showing him right now that he's got no way out. There's going to be something happen to him pretty quickly, and also they're monitoring these boats that are coming out of there that are taking these drugs to be processed and put into the United States. So, they're watching these guys pretty closely, and you're going to see some more of these boats that are going to get blown up. And also, you hear, it's amazing. I laugh sometimes, but it's almost like Trump snaps his fingers and says, "Hey, now I'm going to make the Democrats support drug guys that are running drug runners that are coming into the United States." And just like that, they start to support them. Oh, they're not getting their due process. Oh my goodness, they're killing them, and they're not giving them their due process. All of a sudden, Democrats really think due process is the thing, right? That's the thing. When they didn't give any of that back during the Biden administration. And also, you remember this, Bill Clinton was the one that signed the immigration law that gave them less due process than than the due process they already had according to the law. Now they don't get as much due process. They get a little bit of it. You're illegal. Guess what? You're going home. And see, the difference is, and let me just excuse me for 1 minute, but people can't separate the difference in what it means to be found guilty of being an illegal immigrant and being sent home as compared to charging someone with a crime and putting them in jail. That's a whole different kind of level of due process. You need more due process when you're planning on taking a man's freedom away. But when you're not taking his freedom away, you're just sending him home. Why do you need all that? That's what Bill Clinton signed.
Well, the loyal Venezuelans who believed that Maduro was not the elected individual are sure seeing due process now with Trump walking in there and disrupting things. You're going to see the Democrats finding no way to argue about due process in a foreign environment. However, to your point here in the States, it was only yesterday when Nancy Pelosi got her butt handed to her by a reporter saying, "Did you see that? What did you do on January 6th?" And she starts pointing the finger at the reporter, saying,
"Shut up," she says.
What?
Shut up, she says.
Shut up. Yeah, President Trump had the authority to bring in the troops, and he did nothing. That's bull. He and Kash Patel were working diligently to get the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi at the time, to authorize the funding and the execution of troops into Washington, D.C. To help with the January 6th issues post-election. And she denied it. She denied it. So she lied right on national TV again. These Democrats have done nothing but try to protect turf. Protecting turf is the only due process they're concerned about. And it's time now to get back to the real question. I was a candidate for Congress, as you well know, Michael, less than a year ago, Matt Gaetz's seat, District 1 here in the Panhandle. One of my pledges that I signed was to establish term limits for United States congressmen and women to prevent the Chuck Schumers, the Nancy Pelosi's, the Hakeem Jeffries, and the rest of the ilk, even Mitch McConnell, from hanging around so long they can't walk up a set of stairs anymore. You
No
and I are
kidding.
going
Mitch
to have.
McConnell fell down yesterday. He fell down some stairs yesterday. He should not be there. He's an old man. He should be home sitting in his rocking chair talking about all the good things he did in his life.
Look, you and I are going to reach that point at some point in life, including everybody who's listening and watching. We're going to get older. You cannot run government when you're so afflicted with personal maladies that compromise what it is you need to do for the greater good of the nation. You're more of a hero if you're smart enough to step aside and let someone younger and more vibrant step in to carry the torch. That's the spirit of our democracy. It's not about me, it's about we. And that's what I always mean when I say that, Michael. The problem with the Democrats, it's not about we, it's about me. And they're trying to foster the perpetuation of their own little club. Well, they've got no bench. I started off talking earlier about Donald Trump's got a bench in place with the to perpetuate the spirit of this new generation. The Charlie Kirk Turning Point USA crowd, fostering a new generation of Republicans. You've got Democrat sanctuary states with elections in New Jersey and Virginia right now that are at the cusp of going Republican. We are at now. And by the way, Curtis Sliwell, within striking distance to this Mamdani, not as close as we'd like him, but let's face it, if Donald Trump stepped up and endorsed Sliwell, I think the race would fall Sliwell's way, just as Trump has done with other endorsements. I lost my election for Congress because Donald Trump supported my opponent. Regrettably, he didn't know me, but I wish he had.
Yeah.
He couldn't have found a better supporter and facilitator of a lot of these action initiatives. But it was, but if he does that, there's 4.5 million Jews in New York City, Democrat registered Jews, and I cannot for the life of me understand why these Jews don't get off their butts and vote for the right person, not a liberal Democrat leftist who's talking about socialism and communism and higher taxes and the complete takedown of our treasured city, New York City.
You know, this guy is definitely I mean, he would not, he was on Fox News the other day. He would not condemn Hamas. He's a Hamas supporter. This guy, I mean, and here they are. They've just been given the reins again to sort of, decide what they're going to do with their weapons and stuff like that. What do? They start executing people. This is who they are. They will do this to their own people. What will they do to you?
Look at what Trump is doing in Venezuela. Watch out. It'll be at a backyard neighborhood near you in the future.
Yeah, well, here's what's going to happen. Donald Trump said out of his own mouth the other day, if they don't surrender their arms, we will come and get them, maybe violently. And so, he's made it clear that they're going to give those weapons up. There's no question they're going to give them up. It's just a matter of whether they do it the easy way or the hard way. And he's prepared to do it the hard way. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a group training right now from the U.S. military to go over there and to take those guys out.
You've got this, what's it called, King's Day or King's Rally coming up this weekend.
Silly. It's just so silly. Anyway, we're out of time.
Yeah,
I hate it when that.
Well, it's a change of time, and don't blink, you'll miss a chapter. But the new days are here, and I'm so proud of our America, our president, and you, Michael, for having me on this show.
Hey, thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Thanks.
Take care. Hi, friends. Gene Valentino. I recently had the chance to sit with Ashley Leppert. Ashley's the real deal. A United States Coast Guard helicopter pilot, a recipient of the Air Medal, and a true American hero. Her first book, The Hurricane Within, was an award-winning document, and now shows she's back with volume number 2 called Beyond the Storm. Ashley's courage, faith, and strength of character will inspire you. Visit her website and get the latest updates on her new book and your chance to receive and win a free autographed copy. Check out the QR code down in the corner as well. Thanks for joining us.